Clooney up in the air.
Was he fly? Was that you? Do you fly in and fire people, James?
That's a gross exaggeration.
Does anybody else remember the movie? Is that just me?
What we do. But here's what I will say. I have over 1 million miles flown.
Right.
Yep. And I probably will never be able to become deputy mayor because if someone ever does like a investigation, they'll be like, "Oh, he's the guy that fires people."
Let's go, let's go, let's grow, let's grow, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's go, let's go, let's grow, let's grow, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's go, let's go.
All right. My name is Carlos B. Spencer. We are Black Dad Unfiltered. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm here with my guy.
I'm Coach Rod. Once again, we're coming together to change the narrative of Black dads through authentic, unfiltered conversation. What we got on deck, Los?
Man, we got a great one today. We got a couple guests who are backed by popular demand. All right, okay. We're going to have a good time here. As we always say with Black Dad, Rod and I, and when we have guests, we want people to feel like you're like a fly on the wall. So we're just having a good conversation where hopefully you're hearing that conversation and saying, "Wow, I can relate." Or, "Wow, that's something I would do." Or hearing some information and say, "Man, I didn't think about it that way. Maybe I can use that." But we also bring in SMEs, subject matter experts, who are experts in their field. So it's not just us having a conversation, but people who are professional and who work in these professions, speak in these professions, so that you can't just say, "Oh, they were just chopping it up." No, these are facts. These are information as well as lived experience. So we're talking about workplace politics. I think we jumping in the deep end with this one. What you think?
Yo, I think we should first introduce who we have here.
Let's do it.
Right? Because we don't know who's backed by popular demand. Right? We really don't. So I know we have for the first time with us, and I'm very excited, Dr. Grant.
Yes.
Although you want me to call you Ellen, right?
Yes.
But my sister said don't listen to you, call her Dr. Grant, right? She happens, as those who've watched the show before, again, shout out to my sister. If she's watching this, she just received her PhD from the University of Buffalo, and she's mentioned working with you at Roswell Cancer Institute. So Dr. Grant, can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Okay, well, I'll keep it short. I've been blessed to have many leadership positions in Buffalo. Before Roswell, deputy mayor for 7 years, commissioner of mental health for Erie County for 12 years. Many firsts in, under God's grace. So, just happy to be here and contribute to this wonderful session. Thank you.
All right.
We're gonna move on down to the next to our left.
Yes, my name is Dr. Melodie Baker. I'm good with the doctor. So
all right, Doc. Okay.
I mean, it's still fresh, but you all can call me Dr. Mel if you want to shorten it up.
She didn't even drop the doctor. If you don't want to make it short,
I just dropped
you can make Mel
second
short.
half of my name. But I, role-wise, I'm a research scientist, but I'm the executive director and founder of Impact Stats. It's an organization that uses data and research to drive policies, to drive change, to make education a better world, and particularly mathematics. I'll stop there.
I just feel smarter right already. I have two doctors sitting next to me. I just I don't know, I feel brighter up here.
Well, one other thing I do have to say is that I am a direct beneficiary from Dr. Ellen Grant. Whether she knows it or not, there are people like me watching you, understanding, seeing what you're doing from the very beginning. When you became the deputy mayor, I said, yes.
So good.
So I am a direct beneficiary, and thank you for all the things that you do. You may not know me, but I'm telling you, I know you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Very
That's
sweet.
awesome.
Next time we do this, Dr. Mel, I'm not coming after you. That's hard. Hey, everybody. My name is James Reddick. I do not have a PhD yet. That must mean I'm not as smart as them. But no, I work in human resources. I have this very specialized skill called mergers and acquisitions, which basically means if a company buys another company and they have to decide who gets to have a job, who doesn't have to have a job, they call me and my team. So that's what I do. I've been working in corporate America for 17 years, working with Netflix and some other companies you guys probably have heard or maybe not have heard of. And I'm happy to be here to be able to share my experiences with everybody.
James, do you remember the movie? Somebody tell me the movie if it comes to your mind.
When he, up in the air.
Was he
yeah.
fly? Was that you? Do you fly in and fire people, James?
That's a gross exaggeration.
Does anybody else remember the movie? Is that just
of
me?
what we do.
But
here's what I will say. I have over 1 million miles flown.
right.
Yep. And I probably will never be able to become deputy mayor because if someone ever does like a investigation, they'll be like, "Oh, he's the guy that fires people." So,
I'm gonna find that movie. I know you're.
yeah.
No, I know James. I know he does way more than that. Wealth of information. Great consultant. I'm in the consulting space. Is one of the best I've ever seen do it. But I was just like, wow. Wait a minute. The movie. Okay, James. All right.
Oh, and I'm a proud member of Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Okay.
Make sure that,
Okay.
Okay. Make sure that's
Yes, sir.
in there.
A5.
A5.
Same here. Just in case if you was wondering.
Yeah.
Okay. That's my bro. Okay.
I'm not mad.
Coach Ryan.
I'm a member of Omega I Am Fine. Founder. Representative.
Found. Only the client. You the player president.
There you go.
All right. Okay.
All right, let's get into this.
Yes, let's do that.
So I did have a question teed up, right? Because again, Carlson and I always share experiences. And I think on the last show or the last time we were together, I mentioned that I worked at an organization where I had hurt my knee, like my meniscus, and I was on disability. And then when I came back, my executive director has said, same thing happened to my dog. And my dog was fine. And I was like, what? Right? And then there were other situations, and this was gonna tee into this. I'm very committed to time as a former athlete. So if you say 9 o'clock, I'm there at 8:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30, I'm gone. I left at 5:30, and I never felt such shame. Because she looked at me, looked at her watch, and said, oh, so you have banking hours, huh? I didn't understand what that meant, but I know it wasn't good. Mm-hmm. And it was this implied assumption that even though you're paying me 9 to 5, the expectation is that I work as late as you need me to work.
And this was 5:30.
And this is 5:30.
So it's not even 5 o'clock.
So I thought I was doing good.
Right.
And so I say all that to give us the context around this conversation of like, what do we do in these places of work? How do we navigate? How do we talk? What's the game? And I just feel like often when people look like us, it's our responsibility to figure out how to play this game and navigate, because we're going to pay a bigger price if we don't get it. So just tee this up. So my first question is, and this is for the whole panel, is workplace politics a dirty game or a survival skill no one teaches you?
A dirty game or a survival skill no one teaches.
But do that again when you heard the question. I like when people make noise when I ask questions.
Go ahead. You got to tee them up.
So folks, when I ask a good question, I'm expecting you to be like, oh, okay. Ooh. All right? So I'm going to give us a chance to play this one again. You get it?
That's deep.
All right.
That's deep.
Can I just, I'll just jump in on that.
No, I'm going to ask it again because they're going to make some noise for me, okay? All right, Deputy Mayor, okay? Is workplace politics a dirty game or a survival skill no one teaches you? All right.
Let me cross my legs on that one.
Okay. In my opinion, it is a dirty game that nobody teaches you until you get in the door. First of all, you have got to first learn the culture of that particular organization. Find out, beyond who's in charge, who the real leadership is, what time are people coming in? Are they coming in a half an hour before they're supposed to start? Are they staying a half an hour after, the supposed 5 o'clock hour leaves? Because you won't know until you get in there and begin to search out. And then you have to really just play that game. Because otherwise, you don't want to be ostracized. They'll be saying, oh, well, they got banker's hours, or, they aren't working as hard as I am, et cetera, et cetera. But first, learn the culture of the organization. Who are the gossipers? Always stay away from the gossipers, because there's always some in the organization. Stay away from the people that try to be the leaders, and they're not the leader. you know who they are, because they try to use a narcissistic approach to, what's going on the team. Like they're in charge, like they know everything. Okay, so those are my 2-cent comments to get started.
Those were great. I agree that it is so important that you really have to understand the culture. And workplace politics are different everywhere you go. And if you're like, a lot of Black people, we got a lot of our professional development and raising in the church. And the church is very different than workplace. It depends on different environments. Yesterday, I was speaking to someone, we were talking about how different the education sector is from, per se, the research sector. In the research sector, everyone has PhDs, so we all call each other by their first name. You bet not go to an education community and call a Black woman by her first name that then went and got 3 letters behind her last name. That is the biggest mistake you could make. So when it comes down to it, understanding the culture and being able to read the room, this is chess. It's not checkers, because at the end of the day, you got to get a paycheck. So you have to understand exactly what levers need to be pulled in order for you to get to where you need to get. Now, Black women in particular, we have to do this with style, because unfortunately when we come in the room on our shoulders, we wear everything that society believes who we are, and we have to break all of those barriers. So yes, we have to appear nicer. Yes, we have to be fun. Yes, we have to do a little bit extra. Yes, we have to smile. Is that fair? No, but at the end of the day, it gets you a paycheck.
Can I ask you this, Mel? Can you put your hands together? I feel like somebody was going to clap for that. I just felt like that. Where did you learn that? Like you said, you learned that in this sector, we can call each other by our first name. We all got PhDs. Oh, yeah. Over here, you bet not miss calling somebody. But where did you learn that?
So I learned that the day that I'm going to call out one of my amazing friends, Dr. Cecily Owens, and she would be fine with this. But we had a relationship, a community school grant, and I went in for a meeting, and I made that mistake, and she pulled me aside and corrected me, and it was the best thing that could have happened, because I knew from then on I'm not in the research space. So regardless whether or not I have a doctorate, you need to recognize, because they did earn that, and going through life as a person, especially a Black woman, you unfortunately don't get the respect that you always need. So the respect that you earn, you better get it every single time. But I learned it from watching Dr. Grant, from watching other Black professional women, because the only education that I had was growing up in the church. I'm a pastor's daughter. So the church community is very different. There is, there's a bit of hierarchy, absolutely. Women are treated very differently in the church, and it's very different. So you have to understand how to become a leader, how to be a leader, with at the same time making sure that you bring everyone into your leadership. Black women have held together movements, communities, organizations without institutions leading them, and believing in them. And believe me, this is not some historic nostalgia. It's a blueprint.
No, James, I know you want to jump in too, but I do want to say this, Mel, because I know Dr. Owens as well, Black woman. Last thing I'll say on this point, Mel, she pulled you aside and taught you that, and it sounded like it wasn't a place where you felt threatened or somebody who was disrespecting you. Right. Have you moved forward and used that and taught other Black women or other people the same thing since somebody pulled you aside? So
yes, I have, especially if they're Black women. And I appreciated that, because prior to that point, I would just call people by their first name because of the environment that I'm in. I wasn't in the education environment. I was more of a program officer, more of a researcher. And like I said, researchers, they're all PhDs. We call everybody by their first name. So when I'm in an education environment, and I found out why they didn't like me.
You was up here calling them by their first name.
Yeah, they're all looking at me. There she go.
That's the first name caller right there, y'all.
That one right there. She don't have no respect. And so
and you ain't even know.
I had no clue.
Wow, the game.
Exactly. Because it is when you're in a research environment, people, it's different. it's not, you know what I'm saying, Dr. Grant.
Absolutely.
The rest
Right?
of it, we don't know. She's saying.
All right, she did it again. You know what I'm saying, doctor? Let's be clear. I'm pursuing my doctorate too, okay?
Yeah.
So it's not just three of you here.
Yeah.
Good Lord. You know what I'm saying, Dr. Grant?
It was not like that.
Let me give my 2 cents. Again, coming after her is always very challenging. So let me just say a couple things. Number one is I come from corporate environment, right? The Fortune 500, the Fortune 100, things like that, okay? Couple things I want you guys to know. Yes, there are unspoken rules, and I will today tell you what some of those unspoken rules are. And yes, sometimes we are lucky enough to be able to have someone to pull us aside and say, here are the unspoken rules, here's what you should do, what you should not do. But sometimes we're not that lucky. Right? Or sometimes the person giving us the rules is the shark or the snake in the room, not necessarily giving you what you need, but giving you what they need to be successful.
Wow.
So the one thing that I want you guys to know is that it is not necessarily, it's like money. It's not inherently evil. It's just a tool. It is what it is. In the world that we live in right now, that everyone is living right now, is a world such that it is cruel, it is cold, and it is hard. So there's no point of me sugarcoating it to you, thinking that like, hey, it's going to be better. You can pray it away. That helps. And I know that we're in a church, so
I saw it. I was like, he's about to do it.
I was about to say, hey. I'm about to look out for my frat bro like James.
I do want to give you guys some cold truths.
Amen.
Some cold truths that are there. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And from my lived experience in corporate America. So that's I'll wait till we get to that part. But yeah.
I want to center us, right? Because there's a couple of things we threw out there.
Right.
We threw out the word culture. First learn the culture, right? I think we have to define that. I think that's unfair to just throw that word culture out without defining what workplace culture actually means, right? And then the second thing, and hopefully comes out this conversation, is, well, three things. One, you've already established that workplace politics should have a neither bad or negative connotation. It is what it is. You just have to know how to navigate it, right? You have to know how to use it to your advantage. So no matter what, when you go into any environment, you have to figure out how to manage relationships. Number two, you have to almost have a hard question to yourself, because what I walked away from Dr. Grant with was, listen, if this is the culture, you have to figure out how to assimilate into it. And I think that's a bigger question we got to answer at some point is this the right place for me? Can I actually do this? Yeah. But ultimately, I'm going to ask our professionals, how do you define culture? Because we have a political background, we have the research education, we have the corporate 500.
Coach Rock, why you say that though? I just want to put this point real quick. But
cut me off one more time, Los.
You know
cut me off one more time,
just
Los.
in case y'all didn't know, I played defensive back. He played receiver. Naturally, there's friction, okay? And I usually win. Don't say that. But no, I want you to pose that question. But you said something, and I think Dr. Grant alluded to it. James, you said it straight point. It's a game. And so in my consulting space, I teach people this, getting ready for workplace. I work in workplace practices. I say it's a game. Either you're going to participate willingly or unwillingly.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to play the game. Okay, well then the game is playing you.
That's right.
So
can I start this off?
Yes.
Is that all right?
Yes.
You got one of these, Los.
Come on.
All right. So I mentioned that these rules, right? Here's the first rule I want you guys to know, right? First, you guys know this part, right? First, you have to know something. So it's what you know is important, right? If you're not competent, if you don't know what you're talking about, they're not even going to let you in the room. So if you're in the room, know that you know what you're talking about.
That's good.
Right? That's fine. That's the easy one, right? Then it's who you know. Right? And everyone knows that one too. We all feel that, right? It's not what you know, it's who you know. You've heard that one too, right? Here's the gem though. It's the people, what they say about you when you're not in the room, that right there is what really matters. That's what influence is. That's what politics is. It's what is said about you when you're not in the room. And how you navigate that is by simply asking questions of what do people really value in this role, in this job, in this space? Okay? Now, it can be things like power dynamics, right? He or she's the boss. They always want to be the boss. Don't outshine the boss, right? That could be one of those things that you could keep in mind, right? A culture thing. Something else mentioned about like hours and time that you come in, right? Some jobs don't care about how many hours you work. They care about getting the job done, right? You have to know that. You have to figure out what those things are. And that culture is not written down. Sometimes you're lucky. Like everyone, you remember those successories? Like you remember those like motivational posters that said like success and had a picture of an eagle flying, right? Yeah, these rules aren't written down. It's not like that. Even in our own fraternity, we have unwritten rules, right? One of our unwritten rules in our fraternity is we support each other. So here in the panel, we have two of my brothers are here in the audience. We support each other. So unwritten rules. Nowhere in our bylaws, maybe it is. Is it in our bylaws? I've read those a long time. All right. But if you don't support each other, we kind of look at it like a bank. You can't come asking us for your help when it's your turn because you never supported us when it was time for, when we needed your support, you didn't come and support us. Okay? So again, these unwritten rules that are really important for you to know. And those unwritten rules is what makes up the culture.
How do you?
I need to add to that because it's also how you present yourself. You cannot come into a work environment looking like you're going to the club, okay? Men or women. Nobody wants to see your, I'm sorry.
We're in church.
Your rear side. I got you, Dr. Grant. Nobody wants to see the rear side of your pants without a belt and the belt buckles. I got you.
Okay, or your broomstick eyelashes. I'm sorry, ladies.
Is it blue?
Broomstick eyelashes. Okay, so look at the culture, see how people are dressing, but also how you present your face, okay? I was in a workplace where, I learned this the hard way. One of my boss said, everybody can read your face. When you're in a meeting and you disagree with something, this was early on in my career, and he said, you have got to learn to have a poker face. So remember that. Don't be sitting there when somebody says something really stupid like, you can't. You got to have the poker face, okay? Don't let people know exactly what you're thinking by the presence of your face.
So I'm going to ground this, right? Because we're saying a lot. So if I can repeat what I'm hearing, if I get hired, there's the job I'm hired for.
That's right.
Right? But now to be in an environment where I can be recognized for my work, I have to quickly understand what do these people actually care about outside of me doing my job? Because the job is a basic requirement, right? That's what I'm hearing. Then I have to figure out who are the people to avoid, the quote unquote gossipers, right? Because ultimately, I want to create what we call in organizational behavior, social power. There's types of power. I want to create this power vacuum where people look at me highly, recognize me, want me around, and when I'm not around, they're speaking glowingly about me. So what I'm walking away from is I have to have 2 jobs when I get 1 job.
Yeah.
I got to do my job, and then I got to manage my image.
And you got to do it at the same time. One of my mentors says you got to change the tires while the car is going around the track.
Yeah, you got to build the train while.
So, I mean, how does this not wear? Like, how do we avoid this wearing us down? Because this is I'm hearing it. I'm like, I don't have time. I'm a black man with 3 kids. I run 2 companies. When do I have the time? How does this not take an emotional toll? How do I manage myself? This seems a lot.
Well, number one, I think that you definitely have to protect your energy. However, one thing that you said, something that was said was avoiding the gossipers. I I would actually not hang around with the gossipers, but don't avoid the gossipers because you'll be gossiped about. You still have to build relationship even with the people who are unfavorable in that company, especially if they have tenure, because they will find a way to make sure that you are gossiped about. And that's not what you want. And to your point about you have to get your work recognized and all these unspoken rules, you can't, a lot of people just think that you just go to work, put your head down. No, you cannot just go to work, put your head down, because there are all these unspoken expectations that people have. You can do a great job at your work, but if no one knows or realizes it, including your coworkers, and you're not, you don't have a relationship with them, you will be the first person that's pushed out. So you also have to show what those outcomes look like regularly. And don't wait for an evaluation to tell your supervisor, your higher up, or even the people that you lead what you have accomplished. You go to them, you say, these are the things that I've accomplished, and this is what I am looking at. What are your thoughts about this? So at that point, you're bringing them in, you're giving them buy-in to whatever your idea is, your vision that you want to go to next. And the other thing is you're also saying, I've already accomplished what I've done. You've reminded them of this. I did a project, I was doing some research in this city. And I was looking at we were looking at the math curriculum that was being implemented, because we were going to, recently there was a statewide implementation of illustrative mathematics in New York City. So I'm measuring the implementation, essentially how it's going. And some of the feedback that we were hearing from the teachers is, oh, this comes from the top down. They always just give us new stuff, new curriculum, and it just constantly changes. And then we got to do something. They never ever ask our opinions. But what they didn't realize is that they did ask their opinions. That is the higher ups. They did get a sample of teachers, but what they forgot to do was the messaging. So when I went back to the administration and I gave them the feedback, I said, listen, I get it. You talk to the teachers, but everybody has a short memory. It's like our kids. You tell people to do something or that they did something. You didn't tell me to do that, or I don't remember that. Yeah. You have to remind them. This is what you have to say. Not remember. So we heard what you all said, fellow teachers. We took your expertise and we decided to take it because we really wanted to make sure that we were empowering you. So we implemented the curriculum that you selected based on all the things that you said. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. This is something that I did. This is something that I selected. Right. So essentially what you're doing is you're going back to tell them that you are doing exactly what the expectations are. And then you have to remind them, you said this, and this is what is being done. And then you get their buy-in, the receptivity of whoever it is that you're speaking to, whether it's the people that you're leading or whether you are in a following position. You have to reiterate what those goals were, how they contributed to them as a group, and what your contribution is.
I say this too, Rod, to your point, man. I say this in my class. Again, I consult, and so I train in the workplace development, helping people to develop themselves, giving them the soft skills to prepare them for a job. When they call you, be ready. When you get there, be good. All right? When they call you, be ready. When you get there, be good. I think to your point, Rod, you have to understand that you're playing the game at a higher level. You have to understand that. Like to your point, that is a lot. I gotta get the job and then learn the politics of the job and then do the politics well and the job well and still be a black man. That's a lot. But you have to accomplish it.
Black man or black woman.
Or black woman. You're right. I'll put it to this point to my sports people, and I'll give it back to you, Coach Rod. I use a sports analogy a lot, and you'll get it even if you are not into sports heavily. In high school, I think, Mel, you might have said this, chess and checkers, or you or Rod. It's checkers. In college, it's chess. The game is at a higher level now. So if you're ever watching sports, you're watching a professional team and you see the coaches get upset in the fourth quarter when the wide receiver's wide open and he drops the ball, right? They're not mad at that play. They're mad because they've been setting that play up since the first quarter. They've been baiting the defense to do something. They've been paying attention to the long game. They've been seeing this is what's going to happen. And then they finally come back to it because they've been setting it up. And then the person drops the ball and they're upset because they're playing the game at a higher level. We have to understand that it's a lot of pressure, but we're playing the game at a higher level, and you have to know it is chess now. This is not checkers. And sometimes, unfortunately, people are still playing checkers and everybody else is playing chess.
Yeah. We also don't know. So first, to answer your question, let me just say this. It is exhausting. It is very hard to be able to operate at that high level for a long time, because how do you live your life without slipping? That's not possible. You're going to slip. So if you guys remember, for my first time with you guys, right? I was talking about how capital or human capital is mobile, which basically means change your jobs. You have to know that you're playing a game that you will lose. You will lose this game because you can't play it at that high level with that many variables and always win. Now, you'll win more than you'll lose, but eventually you will lose. The question is, what will you get out of it while you're playing that game? And how can you set yourself up for the next job or the next opportunity? My wife and I talk a lot of times about this 9 to 5 and then the 5 to 9, right? And the 5 to 9, just to be honest, has taken a lot of alpha stuff, has taken my 5 to 9 up, right? Uh-huh. But in that 5 to 9, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., right? Mm-hmm. You have to be preparing yourself for the next, sports analogy, the next contract. You have to be preparing yourself for the next job. Because you will burn out or you will make a mistake, and it will. Someone like me will come in and say, with no fault of your own, right? We're going to move these jobs from Buffalo, New York to Singapore or to the Philippines. And you don't want to be that person. You played all the games, you listed all my rules, all that kind of stuff, but still didn't matter because the game is the game. And the game means that they're going to always find who can do the job as well as you can for cheaper, right? So you need to play another game, which is I am always on the hunt for my next opportunity, my next role, my next gig. Does that make sense to everybody? Does that resonate? You're going to lose the game. So play another game, and that other game is the game of me.
Yeah.
You know what?
I need to add to that because working at Roswell almost 3 years, I was recently downsized. In other words, my job was eliminated. Now, I could have fallen out on the floor and saying, why me, have a tantrum, etc. I just said, okay, I understand. I've been in the position where I myself have had to let people go. So I know what that feels like. But we're in the church. I am always under the cover of God. So I know God is got me. So I am just preparing myself for the next opportunity. Okay? I'm not going to, like some people might, cry and go on and say, stay under the covers. No, I am working it. I am under the cover of God. I know every place I've been, every leadership position I've been, I did not apply for the job. People came to me to ask me to take that job. It's always under the cover of God. So, just be prepared, as you say, because you will lose. And so in that particular instance, I lost, but I will win again.
One way that you can ensure that you don't lose is that you create your own job.
That's what, Mel. That's why I like you.
I mean, I'm just saying not everybody is going to appreciate this personality, and I am not always going to remember to put doctor in front of your name. But in the instances that you don't create your own job, I also think that it is so important that during those times, if you do lose, to really, take a moment and step back and say, okay, what have I gained from this and how can I move on and do something else? However, while you're in those jobs, one thing that I used to always do that was so empowering, anytime it was just a bad day or, it was rough or, I didn't like a particular leadership decision that was made, I always felt better when I went out and applied for another job. Not even because I was ready to move, because it was a reminder of who I am. Like, who who you are. Like at any point, there are other opportunities. It is not just one job. So I will recommend, some people, I always felt better. Anytime I got mad, I just got better.
So I want to come back to what James was saying, and I've been sitting here just mulling it over, right? That there's a game being played, right? Either it's gonna play me, you Lo said that, or I gotta play the game. And then it's something that I've been really adapting now is I gotta play the game of me. So I'm gonna speak to some of our cultural upbringing of this super loyalty thing that we have as Black folks. Right, where we get something and we're gonna do the best we can, and we've been trained. You just do the best you can, and people will recognize your work. Mm-hmm. But what I'm hearing and what I agree with is no. When you go into some place, it's literally, I'm gonna do what you ask. I'm gonna play this game, but this is being done so that I can get the most out of this for me. Staying with the sports analogies to make it sense, it's like LeBron James. Yeah, you only have so much amount of money. You only can spend $100 million a year to build a team around me. You're still going to pay me my $60 million. Because there's a game I'm playing, the game of me. So I think, and this may take us someplace else, let's talk about some of those things that culturally impact us from realizing I got to put me first when I come in here. I have to think how I'm going to play my game within the game. Like, can we talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's what will really help our community.
Yes, and can you also touch one thing that I think it is so important, especially when it comes down to Black people,
Sure.
And thinking about you and putting yourself first. One thing that I have consistently seen as a statistician is that as Black people, we never actually request or demand what we're worth. We'll always accept. We don't negotiate. It's almost as if we're just happy to be here. No, we ain't just happy to be here. If they give you a number, go up. But I have seen that consistently, that Black people, and then when we get there, we're like, well, this person makes more than me. That's because you accepted the first number.
Right.
How much are you worth? How are you putting yourself first?
I'm going to push back.
Yeah, I want to push back on that.
I'm going to push back.
Before the pushback, we got questions if you want to ask. All right, now y'all been sitting here. No, don't leave here. We got a mic here. If you have a question at any point, you want to ask that question. Ask that question.
No,
Mel,
no.
Look at Mel. Set up. She said,
No. Dr.
what's
Mel.
You said don't be ready.
"Stay ready."
You know what I'm saying? All right. I don't own a filter, can't spell it, so we're about to go in. No, I don't disagree on the surface level, but I do think contextually, when we're in that room, we may not have the same negotiation leverage. We may not be in a position to actually, because use the word demand what we're worth. That's not, universal, of course. I'm respecting that. But I don't think if people are listening, it's as clear or easy as you make it sound. So I'm gonna let our HR person, because I hire people too, so I'm gonna let our HR person talk.
I feel like we're on the same vibe. A couple of things. No one at work will ever pay you what you're worth. Okay? So that just needs to go away. Okay? You're worth way more than what they're paying you. Think about it this way. Okay? Their job is to make money off of you, not to lose money off of you. So by definition, they're not going to pay you more than you bring to the company, right? Does that make sense to everybody? Like, if you are not able, plus, there are some positions where you are not able to negotiate. You're not able to walk into the room and say, hey, I am a widget maker. I think of a better job than that. Help me out.
No, you're doing good.
Yeah, I'm a widget maker, right? My job is to put things into a box, right? That's my job. I take something here, I put it in a box, I label the box, I ship the box, okay? That is a repeatable job that you do not have leverage over to be able to say, no, pay me what I'm worth, okay? What you have to do is you have to do what I said before, which is play the other game. And the other game is when you're there learning about the box, when you're putting stuff in the box, learn about the box. How was the box made? Where does the box come from? Right? Then you can then take that and go find another job that leverages what you learned. And that will increase your income. We have this saying that the best way to increase your income is to change jobs.
Yeah.
That is, you get like, and I'll be done in a second, okay?
No, take your time. You're preaching real good. Don't let these doctors get you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Between 18 and 30% jumps, okay? Every time you switch a job, because no one will pay you more than the person who doesn't know you, right? They will always overpay you. They'll say, "Oh, you worked at Tesla? Oh, okay. You didn't have to, what'd you do at Tesla?" They don't really care. You just worked at Tesla. We'll pay you more, okay? I hear it.
I'm with you, Mel. I'm with you, Mel. I got you.
I'll wrap with this, okay? Again, remember, your worth is worth way more than anyone can pay you. It's worth more than you could pay yourself. So don't look at it like that. Look at it in terms of, what can I get out of this situation? What can I learn and apply it to the next gig that I want to do? Whatever that thing is.
So before you go, Dr. Mel, because I know you're going to want to go.
Listen.
No. Because I want to add two
me and
cents to
Dr.
give you
Mel want to
context.
give some information back, right? You know what I'm saying?
Between the two of y'all.
You know what I'm saying?
Monopolize the conversation on why we should not negotiate. And let me just be clear.
No, I didn't say we should not negotiate.
It's his job as HR to make sure that the company keeps as much money as possible. So it is his job to tell you that your value is to learn more. Let me be clear. I don't know what kind of jobs these are, but I believe that the jobs that called Dr. Ellen Grant definitely asked to negotiate, because at the end of the day, you accept whatever they give you. They will treat you the way whatever you are worth. If you ask for more, that is what you are expected to get. Now, let me explain something. They might only be able to pay you a certain amount of money. However, there are other leverage points. If they really want you, they might be able to say, "Hey, I can only pay you, $165,000, but what else I can do is I might be able to give you a few additional vacation days. We might be able to do some remote. You might be able to work at home a little bit. We might be able to shift your hours because I got to pick up my baby from school or drop my baby off from school. So let me tell you, salary is the one thing, but that ain't the only thing we're negotiating. And it is your job, my fellow human resource person, to make sure that they get as little as possible to maintain that budget. But at the end of the day, you're going to break the budget when you have a conversation with me. Because if you really want me, you're going to pay me what I'm worth.
So I love it, right? Because we just got a hip hop 101 thing here, right? So, no, we need to record it, brother. Right? But while he's going there, I do want to say this, because again, I want to give context. I do believe you can negotiate, but I'm going to speak to the middle. I'm going to speak to the person that's not at management and below. I'm saying, by all means, ask for what you want, but I will not paint a rosy picture and say, if you're coming in here and you don't have a doctorate and you don't have an MBA, that we have the same leverage. Even if you have it. So I'm not disagreeing with you, because that's my job, is to negotiate. My job is to get my people higher. This is what I do. But at the end of the day, I'm also cognizant of when I walk in there and I look like this, the game is still stacked up against me.
But Coach Rod, you might not have.
I like
an
how you
MBA.
called me coach. Okay.
Coach, you might not have an MBA. You might not have a BA. You might not have this particular certification, but you have a certain set of skills that got you into that office. So you need to look at your background, the expertise in what you do bring, and be able to negotiate that and explain that to them, because they don't know what you know until you tell them, until you explain that to them.
Oh, we get hot.
There are some positions, though.
Positions.
Yes, but there are some.
Somebody get this brother a mic. Somebody, please help me. Get him a mic, man. We need this question. Go ahead.
There are some. Yes.
I want to hear from some of the other. I feel like I'm the only one up in here talking about negotiating.
Oh, it's on me. Yes, there you go. No, I think the part we're meeting here, which I think is very valid. I think it's good. You guys
brother.
are both giving some great information. I think it's skill set. I think the thing is skill set.
Absolutely.
I think John Hope Bryant says, dedicate yourself to be a fantastic individual with great skills and a heart to serve, then watch people line up to leverage your talent. Because if you give yourself more skills, you can cause yourself to receive more value. I think overall, we're even saying that together. I think James was saying, if you go to a different place, they'll see the skills that you had and they'll give you more. I do agree that you need to ask. I teach this in workforce development, but you do not ask until you receive the offer. Once you receive the offer is the time to ask. If you don't, I sold cars right out of college. The same car I sold to somebody for $20,000, the next person I sold to $19,750. The difference was the second person asked. It was the same car. The second person asks. If you ask and they don't give it to you, now you have to do that 5 to 9 and add yourself more skills. But if you don't ask, it'll never be given to you. One of my friends, James McHenry, says this: I can accept no, I just can't accept not asking.
Let me ask you this.
No, we
How
gotta-
much? Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
How much more? So we talking cars, right? You know what? Let's talk athletes, right?
Yes.
Let's talk athletes. Let's say, this athlete, I had to come out of pocket. They wouldn't had to come out of pocket with a $28 million contract. This athlete, I was able to get away with only paying him $7 million, right? 28 million, 7 million, right? Who you gonna put on the field? The one you paid more money for. Who you gonna take care of? The one you paid more money for. They could both have the same amount of skills, but because I've paid more for this, because I've invested. This is an investment. When you invest in me, guess what? I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna look out. I'm gonna make sure that my investment is taken care of.
I see that. I do see it. And we've seen that in sports too. Go ahead,
Let's
sir.
get the question.
Like, subscribe to Black Dad Unfiltered. We're on YouTube. We're on any listening podcast platform. So my name is Carlos V. Spencer. Black Dad Unfiltered. I'm here with my guy.
Coach Rod, once again, changing the narratives on Black Dads through authentic conversation. Follow us on all social media and streaming platforms at Black Dad Unfiltered. Let's go. Let's grow.
Let's get it.
it.
God bless.
Thank
Y'all
you,
be
folks.
blessed. Thank y'all.